What is up, guys? Today we are talking Astros. We are talking maybe a little bit of football, maybe a little bit of NBA, and we're talking Leanna Cruz.
So stay tuned.
Been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Start us off.
Well, first off, we got to talk about the Astros' pathetic apology. It just, they had 3 months to rehearse for this, basically. And I just think the only one that legitimately came out and apologized was Carlos Correa. I applaud him. He admitted they did wrong. He didn't sugarcoat anything. And I think he's the only one on the Astros organization that remains there that's not going to get drilled by a pitch.
I like how I got the notification for the Astros, apologize. And it was like, the description was like pre-written apologies, because it wasn't even from the heart. It was someone that wrote those apologies
20-second apologies.
Yeah, it was pathetic. And I loved Cody Bellinger's rant. We literally just watched it again right before we hopped into this. And he talks about how Altuve, stole an MVP from Judge, how he lost respect for Altuve, Bray, all those players. And I do too. You know what's funny is...
Well, Big Mouth Verlander had nothing to say either. He basically said he didn't want to talk about it no more, which I'm sorry. The questions are going to get harder as the year goes on.
Yeah, and what's tough is Altuve is such a well-respected player in MLB. And to know that he was on a team with this, and let's be real, he knew.
First of all, when you hit the home run, and the first thing you do is you're telling the guys coming down at third baseline, don't rip my jersey off, and he's holding his jersey, and then he don't even celebrate. He runs up the tunnel, changes his shirt, and comes back out. And when they ask him about it, he says, my wife doesn't want me showing my body to women.
Why did you change your jersey?
You know what Gary Sanchez said?
Yeah, go ahead. I know exactly what he said.
I don't care if you rip my pants off of me.
If I just hit the home run off of Roldis Chapman, who touches 100 miles an hour
to go to the World Series.
To go to the World Series, you could take all my clothes off.
I'm running around in my jockstrap. I don't care. I'm not worried about the fans. I'm not even worried about nothing. I'm pumped.
I want you to pour the water on me. I want my team to be celebrating on the field right there and then. I'm not going to go to the tunnel and change my jersey.
Well, Jim Crane is a complete idiot as an owner, and there's a lot of people coming out and saying that, AJ Hitch, he did no justice for Crane at all. He just basically said this comes from the top. They knew it. This goes way back to 2015, and he came out and he contradicted himself. And the people that were doing the interviews, I applaud them because they ripped him.
It's pathetic.
He came out and said this had no effect on what happened in the game at all. That they got to the World Series. This did. If you have a buzzer on you and you're being buzzed when an off-speed pitch is coming and you're buzzed and know ahead of time, come on.
Yeah, like
that is affecting the outcome of the game.
Especially if you're using it against someone like Chapman, where you can go, okay, I know 100-mile-an-hour fastball is coming.
Yeah.
It's pathetic, man, because you think about their team was good enough to win without cheating.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as what they can do now at home, not knowing what pitch is coming.
Let's be real. When they play the Dodgers, they're getting it.
Altuve's might not be as good as everyone thinks he is without the aid of the little buzzer and the aid of the camera and the beating of the garbage can.
Someone's getting it.
I hope to God these guys, their stats fall off. I hope to God they don't make it to the playoffs.
So do I.
Remember
all those years where like half the Astros teams was a starting lineup for the All-Star games. It's like that's pathetic now to think about.
Look, I don't think players should be kicked out of the sport forever. But I think they should be suspended just like the coaches.
They shouldn't.
A year, 2 years.
They shouldn't be allowed anymore to
no
show.
Pay.
They shouldn't be allowed anymore to show all the home runs by the Astros that they got in the playoffs,
well,
the one that we watched too. Because it's frustrating now to watch those because you know that they were cheated.
They should not be allowed to financially have any kind of gain off of World Series merchandise, off of World Series videos, anything that deals with the World Series. It should not be allowed. No. And you know what? I think, and Bellinger said this, the MLB didn't punish them hard enough.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And you have all those people saying they were punished plenty enough. They weren't.
No, what punishment did they get? They still got the World Series.
You think about all the awards they stole from players, all the All-Star awards they stole from players. They stole a World Series. They stole playoffs wins, bonus money.
I think, and and this is wholehearted now, I think all this playoff crap that just came out recently said it's not going to go into effect till like 2021, 2022. I think this is a cover-up just to get everyone's mind off of this. They still haven't released Boston's, what's going to happen with Boston. And I still think that these players, they don't care. That 20-second speech was more of, okay, I'm sorry we got caught. I'm not sorry for what we did. No. We're still World
more
Series
like
champions.
It's like, okay, here, I'm sorry. Here's my pre-made speech so I can just get this over with and go back to playing baseball.
And do you think these guys care about the Hall of Fame right now? No. Or what's going to happen going down the road? I mean, sure, they're saying put them in the same class as the people that did steroids and everything else like that. But let's face it, those guys are going to eventually get in. I mean, they were close this year to getting in. You only need like 75% of the votes. Bond was floating around there for a while, and then it dropped off. Pete Rose, he's pushing to get reinstated and getting not well. He wants to get into the Hall of Fame, and I you know what, he deserves it. He is
as a player. He deserves it.
You can't take away what he did as a player.
Third base, right?
No, I don't know. He played first base.
Was it?
And as a coach, he never bet against his team to make financial gain. He bet for his team. So it's not like he was betting against his team, throwing a game, and winning thousands upon thousands of dollars. He was betting on his team to win.
Why can't you bet it for your team?
You can't bet on it. But you know what? Nowadays, you can bet on anything. You really can. I mean, just not, I don't know if the players can, but you can bet on anything. And let's just say you're not in the Super Bowl. You're not in the World Series. What's stopping you from betting as a player? Nobody knows. You can gamble online. You can gamble from your phone.
I heard that. Not to get off topic, but I heard that they're going to be switching the balls.
Yeah, I heard that last year. They're switching the balls again
because you know how like we talked about we laid down the facts, the stats that there was a lot of home runs last year.
Oh yeah,
because
everything was
they
elevated.
changed the balls, but nobody wanted to admit it. Even though all the pitchers knew. You saw how Verlander came out and he said these balls are definitely more juice. I mean, you had teams where there was more than 5 players averaging double-digit home runs, and that's not a thing to see usually. Yeah. That's a new thing you're seeing. But I saw that, I laughed.
I just, you know what, and I think talking about the Astros again, Justin Verlander, he could have came out and sincerely apologized because you know what, he got there late in the season. I think he got there in August.
But 2 years ago, though.
Yeah. So, he's a pitcher. He really doesn't get involved with the hitting side of it. Garrett Cole came out and said he didn't know anything about it.
Which probably, maybe they don't. True. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even just saying that because he's a Yankee, but like maybe some players didn't know. Maybe they were kind of like questioning, like, why does he keep hitting the garbage can? I don't know.
You know what? And the Yankees don't play them till late in the season, and they don't play them at home until like the second last series of the year. So let's face it. Somebody's getting drilled, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, especially against the Dodgers.
105.3 The Fan, RJ Chapio saying that those guys are going to get beamed more than anyone in the sport.
You
this
think
year.
Altuve, Bregman, Springer, like all these, they're getting hit.
Yeah,
especially against the Dodgers. There's going to be a brawl.
And I think they play the Dodgers.
I would bet money that when they play the Dodgers, there's going to be a brawl. First pitch of the game, Altuve leads off, or if it's Springer, one of them's getting hit.
But see, I don't know if the Yankees are going to do it.
I don't know. They might.
I don't know if
you think about how many times the Yankees had a chance to go to the World Series, and who did they lose to? They lost to the Astros. What was it, the past 3 years?
You know who I could see doing it? I could see Tanaka doing it.
If
CC Sabathia was there, I was going to say Sabathia would drill every single one of them.
It would be amazing if CC was there because CC would have hit one.
But I think MLB is going to come out and they're going to warn both sides before the game starts.
It doesn't matter.
And you know what? Aroldis Chapman. Could you imagine him mid-season form?
Altuve.
103-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you. I don't want to see anyone get hit in the head.
I'd cry.
I don't want to see anyone get hit in the head.
I'd cry.
But could you imagine Altuve getting drilled by an Aroldis Chapman fastball to the ribs?
There'd be a fight.
Oh, yeah.
There's going
to probably be more brawls in baseball this year than ever before, and it's going to have to deal with Houston.
It's funny you say it because yesterday I was watching 2019 Brawls. I love watching that. As much as
I like the injections. The
as
injections are the best.
It could be annoying sometimes, but there's something about and I don't agree with a pitcher having the right to try and hit someone in the head. Like I could see the back or something, but even then you're throwing 99 miles an hour most of these days now. But something about when a batter gets hit, man. And he throws the bat down, and he looks at the pitcher, and everyone's running out. Remember when Rodor punched Bautista right in the face? There's just something about that, man, that gets you pumped for baseball.
And I'm torn because I want to see the Astros fail. I want to see them not make the playoffs. But at the same time, I want to see them make the ALCS and play the Yankees again.
I don't screw them.
I want to see them have to come to Yankee Stadium with all those fans going nuts. Chapman coming in the ninth inning with a big lead and
I just
a
hit him.
two-way up.
Just him. Oh!
Could you imagine? I'm excited. I really am excited for baseball. I really am.
Pitchers and catchers reported.
And
nice.
you know what's awesome is a lot of Yankee players showed up.
Yeah.
So which means they're dedicated. They're there. They're ready to go. Gleyber Torres showed up. Sanchez is already there. Who the heck else is there? I think, was it Judge? Somebody else is there, and I was surprised that they're there already.
There's a lot of people in new uniforms, too. I think Mookie Betts and David Price are wearing Dodgers uniforms. Garrett Cole's wearing a Yankees jersey with a shaved beard.
I'm excited for Hap. I really am, because he's working on his command. And the problem with Hap last year was, and it was the same problem Paxton had in the beginning.
On the plate.
He couldn't get the fastball in on the hands. He was struggling in
when you
on
don't throw
righties.
high 90s anymore, you need to command that.
That's why he needs to go to junk more.
When you start to decrease in speed, you have to evolve like CC did. You have to evolve with your command, because when you can locate your fastball in on the hands or outside and low, you have a better chance of striking someone out and work on your junk.
But he's been working. He's been working with the new pitching coach. He's excited. Maybe this could be a big year for him.
Paxton's injured.
Yeah, and he's not going to be back for 3 to 4 months, I think they said.
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy. And I'm excited. I think this is the team that can
I'm
do it.
I'm looking forward to the battle of first base between Voit and Ford.
Well, Voit, Ford, and Andujar.
I don't know. I don't know what it is with Andujar, but like
We need his bat.
That's the only thing I like. And then whether that's a DH, but I like Stanton. I want Stanton to have a good year this year. I want Stanton to be healthy, because I think Stanton
need Stanton to be healthy.
I think Stanton can produce us with 30 home runs. The thing with Andujar is when he was healthy, he played terrible defense at third base. And that for me is like, for me personally, a player on the Yankees, I want them to have good defense. Anyone can, whether you're struggling bad and that sucks, but like I want you to make the plays out there, because that affects pitchers getting runs.
I hope Estevan Florio has a good spring, because I like Gardner. Don't get me wrong, I love Gardner, but they're gonna be playing him center field. He doesn't have an arm.
No.
To make that throw home.
When's the last time you saw a Yankee with an arm? Judge has an arm.
Yeah. But, I mean, we need a good center fielder, a good athletic center fielder, and Estevan Florio could be that guy. He had a great spring last year until he got hurt. If we can get him healthy, because Hicks is going to be out for a while.
It's interesting to see if Frazier's down there yet working on defense.
Frazier's going to be another one. We have Tauchman coming back. Giancarlo's going to be playing left field and DHing.
It's going to be a good battle for the outfield.
Team's loaded, and I'm excited for it.
I feel like we're a little low on the infield depth, and I'm not really sure who we have in the minors that can back us up for that, because you think we don't got Didi anymore. I mean, Andujar, they went to play first base and outfield, so it's like who's playing short and second base when these guys need a rest?
Yeah, but the nice thing is LeMahieu can move all over the place.
Oh, Tyler Wade. I forgot what Tyler Wade.
DJ LeMahieu can move all over the place. And
Tyler Wade did play a lot better last year than he has in the past 2 years.
Yeah, his problem is he's great in the minors. He's gonna be a career minor leaguer.
Well, he bats over 350 in AAA, and then he comes to the pros. He can barely bat $150.
Yeah, and then that was the thing about Debbie Garcia. They were talking about how huge he was down in the low A's. As soon as he got to AAA, he kind of struggled a little bit because you see better hitting. And they're saying he might be making the jump this year to go either to the bullpen or a long reliever for the Yankees, which I think you should still let him start down in AAA and then bring him up. And then maybe you can get some starts out of him, because they're looking to do possibly 5 starting rotations, which would be nice. It gives you a rest.
They still have a good bullpen without Betances. You think they still have Britton? They still have Chapman. Who's that guy number 0? His last name starts with an O.
Ottavino.
Ottavino.
I just hope we don't do those 5th day option where we have Green.
And we got Chad Green. Chad Green's an amazing pitcher.
I hope we don't do that this year.
And we got Jordan Montgomery coming back.
Yeah, I think that killed our bullpen last year, and I think we need to get away from that. We need to get away from using our bullpen more than we have to. And the nice thing is I think the rules are changing for this year, where you have to be in for at least a three batter minimum. So, which is nice. It's going to be like you can't go in for one batter, switch out.
Because lefty-righty type of stuff.
Yes, I like that. Because there's times, what was it last year, when we had guys in there that were like, man, he pitched so great. Why is Boone pulling him out after one batter? Why is he pulling him out after one inning?
Everyone has those stats now.
Let him go.
Remember how you used to mark down in the books what each batter did to each pitcher?
Yeah, I used to
have that.
But my thing is, too, is I communicated with the pitcher. I really did. I communicated them, and I know these guys get paid a lot of money to come in for the 7th inning, or they come in for 1 inning in the 8th, or the closer. To me, it's about winning. I don't care. I don't care what your stats say. I don't care what management pays you. This is what we're doing today. Jimmy, you're getting a rest because you know what? You threw 5 innings yesterday, or you threw 3 innings yesterday. Today we're using you. I don't believe in that whole thing. I don't care what paper says. I don't care what, if you're good, and you threw, like quick amount of pitches and you want to go another inning, let's go. I'm not going to dedicate myself to a Green, a Britton, and then go into that.
I just saw a headline here that says this guy urges the MLB to protect the Astros from beanballs.
No. You know what?
They deserve it.
It's BS. You know what? The league's angry. Let's face it. The players are angry, and they're gonna show their justice on the field. It's gonna happen. Look what happened to freaking A-Rod when he went back to Boston.
Yeah, he got hit.
He got drilled, and everyone knew it was coming. So it's gonna happen. I don't think
Speaking of A-Rod.
I don't think it's gonna happen in spring.
Speaking of A-Rod, did you see what's going on with A-Rod?
No, I don't pay attention to A-Rod.
A-Rod is pushing the tires here to become the Mets buyer because like that whole thing happened where the Mets buyer didn't end up buying the team.
Yeah.
But A-Rod's kicking the wheels now. He's trying to build up something here so that he could become the Mets owner.
He's got a lot of money.
He does.
He's
Between him and J-Lo.
He's going to be a partner in it, though. He's not going to put all his money in it because I don't know what the Mets' worth is. I mean, the Yankees.
He's a smart businessman.
What are the Yankees worth? $4 billion. The Mets are probably worth like once instead of little stepbrother. I don't think they're worth them. I mean, you have to get investors. That's the big thing.
He's a very, very smart businessman.
He is. I would love to have him on the podcast when that happened. But you know what? He is a baseball mind, and I love guys like that you can talk. Like Dexter. Dexter has a baseball mind, and you can sit there and you can just talk baseball all day long. I love it.
MLB came out with this whole new schedule thing that me and you were talking about last podcast, and I thought that it was very stupid.
That's what I was talking about, covering up the whole Astros thing. But yeah.
And I was talking with this man at work. His name's James. If he's listening to the podcast, this is his idea, and we were talking about. You know, you think about the schedules of the MLB, and you think about how you play your division, right? And I think he calculated that you play your division teams about 68 games, throughout the year, which is a big chunk of your games if you think about it. So then you think about divisions where teams suck, right? I'm gonna pull one up. Say like the Dodgers division, right? Mm-hmm. So you think about out of 68 games, you're playing all these teams that below 500 teams, and it's like. They ought to change it where you have these teams where they're not playing as many division games, and we're playing more interleague games. We're playing more competitive teams. So you're getting better people in the wild cards and the divisions. Mm-hmm. You think about the Phillies division. Before half those teams were good. It was mostly the Nationals with Bryce Harper, and you had the Phillies.
I think that's going to be a good division this year.
I think it's going to be a really good division. Yeah. But you think the Mets, the Marlins, the Phillies, they struggled, so it was always like the Nationals.
You see the Mets are talking about trading away that pitcher from Toronto? I can't think of his name.
Who, the Mets, you said?
Yeah.
Marcus Stroman?
Yeah.
I'll take him.
I know. They're loaded now, so they're trading him away.
But what I'm getting out of this is like, I think it's like 40% of your season you're playing division games. You think about the Yankees, right? The Yankees, Baltimore, Boston, Toronto the past couple of years. And not trying to be like, okay, like I don't want the Yankees to win, but take the Central for instance. You had the Chicago White Sox, the Cleveland Indians, Detroit Tigers, Kansas City Royals, and Twins. The Twins, last year, the Twins were like, 20 games above first? Mm-hmm. And you think, okay, this should be, if they're going to change anything with this schedule, it should be that they shouldn't play as many division games because then you can see them playing real hard teams. You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he was telling me. I agreed 100%. And what we were talking about is, why don't you just get rid of divisions? Why don't you just, at that point, AL, NL?
Yeah.
And that way, 6 teams from each side make the playoffs, right? You're having the best teams play in the playoffs. You're not having an NL Central team here playing 4 teams out of the division that are below 500, and they're easily going to make the playoffs. Who knows that they're really good?
Why don't they follow like the minor league setup? Like the minor league, they have a halfway point division winner, and then they play the rest of the season. Then they get a winner from that division.
Yeah,
they have to make changes. First of all, why do you have to play 160 some games? Why don't you shorten it? Like end the season in the end of July or August, and then
that way it's not cold when it's playoffs.
Put more teams into the playoffs. Because before you're already going into November now with the World Series.
This whole thing though, where it's like, okay, there's gonna be 4 wild card games, and then the team gets to pick who they want to play. That's so stupid.
The thing I don't like is the number 1 seed could end up sitting for 10 days and not doing anything, and then you have to come on TV to announce who you want to play.
You think about too, like this is completely out of loop, but you think of NASCAR for instance.
Yeah.
You know how like
NASCAR Daytona is this weekend.
I know. Wait,
Rudy.
Isn't it today?
No, tomorrow.
You think about how like halfway through the race, you know how they have like that halfway winner where like they're really racing for points.
They do stages now.
But you know how like everybody doesn't just stay in the back now; they really race.
Yes.
So say you took out the divisions in MLB and you just do the NL and AL. You think people are going to fight hard now because they know you can't just win in a division. You got to get in that top
But
6 spot.
that's the one thing I like right now. That's the one thing I like about what they want to do. They want to add more wild card teams, which was going to give a team like, say, the Baltimore's 20 out by the halfway point.
And I get that.
And now it's going to give them something to play for so they don't tank. You know, maybe what they should do? This would be really interesting. Halfway point, you get your division. You get your division winners. Say the Yankees are up by 15 games.
Yeah.
You invert them in the division. So now they're 15 behind the Orioles, who are in first place.
That would suck.
So then you got to...
That'd be terrible. That's terrible. That would never happen.
It gives you something to... Because you got to keep playing. Then now all of a sudden the Orioles are like, wow, I went from last to first. All right. It gives something to play for.
Because people would just like...
I know.
No, but like...
Baseball needs to be fixed. It's too long. It's too long of a season.
No, and I understand like the whole like thing with more wild cards. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the whole picking thing, that's stupid because you think about the NL wild card race last year.
Yeah.
We talked about the podcast. There was, I think, we came down to like about 10 teams, and the last team was maybe 3 games out of that wild card spot. Mm-hmm. So if you give that more wild card spots, it does make a better, hotter race. But like the whole where you pick what team you want to play in the rounds, like that's stupid. That to me that's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was laughing with him because I said to him, I said, you think people like me and you, we can come up with these amazing ideas, right? MLB has all of these smart people and pay all these people so much money to come up with a stupid idea like that.
Yeah. You know what? And this Mansfield guy, I just don't think he is the good overall commissioner for baseball. I don't think he really cares about anything other than the bottom line, which is money.
And that's the
And
bottom
I don't think
line.
he's looking to improve the game.
Because Stone Cold
But
said so.
got to get into the NFL. Tony Romo is really, really, really in a great spot right now, and I love talking about Tony Romo, man.
Great guy.
I just wish he would have got a Super Bowl. Anyway, he's living nice. He's living real nice. He's got two networks now fighting for his duties of being a broadcaster for them. CBS is now upping their game, and they're trying to compete with ESPN to get Tony Romo to stay with Jim Nantz. There's rumors out there now that Tony Romo will be making between $15 to $20 million
crazy,
to
yeah.
be the highest paid sports commentator
That's living
on
life
TV.
because you think that's a job that's once a week. You fly out to whatever state you're doing.
He will be making twice as much as every NFL coach. So the average for a coach right now is $7 million a year. The only one that makes more than that is Bill Belichick. I think he makes like $20 million a year because the coaches aren't on a salary cap.
Yeah.
But Tony Romo will double that with less work.
That's crazy.
It is. It's absolutely
You know what's funny?
nuts.
He's probably laughing because so many people want him to keep playing.
Yeah.
And, he probably want to keep playing too. He's like, these injuries. He's got to be like loving life. He's Corona commercials. He's up there broadcasting. Everyone knows he's like the best broadcaster right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting hit. He's still involved in the game. And he's just chilling up there making $20 million to talk about how the game's going.
Yeah. Everyone was making, this is other NFL nuggets out there now. Everyone was making fun of Jameis Winston because he had to get eye surgery to fix
that
his...
LASIK eye surgery.
He had to get LASIK
He
done.
needed it, man.
He said he had this problem since college. He couldn't see the scoreboard.
Yeah. Well, they were showing videos like of him in college and the pros, and every video he's squinting at the sidelines.
So everyone said that his vision is now 30-30.
You think he would have gotten this surgery a while ago?
Yeah. He didn't get the 30-30 joke?
I got it.
Vision's 20-20, but since he's a 30-30 guy.
30 touchdowns, 30 picks. But wait, real quick, let's just talk about how, Myles Garrett met with the commissioner and they reinstated him. He's back in the game.
Yeah.
And now he's accusing that during that scuffle that Mason Rudolph called him a racial slur.
Which Mason Rudolph has gotten an attorney, and he is going after him now.
And I'm not saying I don't believe Myles Garrett here, but, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of news people. And the biggest questions that are coming out of this is if that's really what happened, why didn't he say this right away?
Well, he didn't. And let's face it, there was some African-American offensive linemen that were with Rudolph right there.
So you think if he would have said that, they would have took offense
That's
to
where
that?
I'm going with it. I think Pouncey's one of them. They came out and said they were there. They heard nothing. And let me tell you something. I don't care if you're a teammate or not. If he did say
They
that
would have crushed
slur,
him for that. He would have been off the team.
He wouldn't be in that locker room and staying alive. He would have got a fist to the eye. Yeah. So I don't. You know what? I don't know
what happened. But another thing too, you got to think about. The centers are usually mic'd. The refs are usually mic'd.
Yes.
Of all the
NFL knows what was said. They heard
of
it.
all the microphones on the sideline, someone had to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, will the NFL ever release that? Probably not.
No.
Because that makes them look bad.
But let me tell you this: if the NFL did hear him say that, he would have got suspended.
He would have got fined or something.
Yeah, there would have been more of a penalty.
They
for
would have
him.
came out right away and said, "This is what he said. You're off the team. You're suspended."
And let me and this isn't to say it's not wrong, because it is very, very wrong.
Yeah.
If he did say it,
He deserved to be off the team.
that doesn't justify what Myles Garrett did.
No, because he
You
could
coulda
have
killed
killed him. But at the same time, Myles Garrett, if that's what he said, he should have brought that up to his defense right away, because then you would have people say, okay, if
He
really,
didn't say it until he got suspended.
yeah, if he really did call you that, like that gives you a reason to want to fight him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you took his helmet off and almost could have killed him.
Yeah, and my whole thing is like you're walking a fine line there. It's like a hockey player taking a stick and swinging at someone intentionally to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
There's no room for that. With all the sponsorship that the NFL gets, I mean, you're representing them.
Yep.
You're not just representing the team that you're on. You're representing the NFL.
Yep.
He's lucky he still has a job in the NFL.
And what's crazy is Myles Garrett is actually like really like this nice, quiet guy who reads poetry, writes poetry. So it is like it's nice to see that he got a second chance and he's able to stay in the NFL. You know,
Yeah.
he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I hope he's learned what from he's done, because it was.
Well, let's face it. I think Rudolph's done in the NFL anyway. I don't think
I don't know.
Ben's going to play.
I
And
don't
if
know
they
what his
don't,
future is, honestly.
if Ben doesn't play this year, I'm sure they're going to be looking to get another quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they can get a Dak Prescott or something.
I don't know. There's a lot going on there with Dak Prescott. Andy Dalton is actually the team's helping him get traded because he wants to get traded, but they're not looking to just trade him. They're looking to trade him to the best possible team that gives him a chance to play. You know what I mean? They don't want to trade him somewhere where he's just gonna sit the bench.
And that's interesting that you brought up Cincinnati, because Cincinnati is listening to I think it's 5 teams. They're listening to Detroit, San Diego, Miami, the Bears, Denver Broncos, and Tampa Bay about that offer for the number 1 pick. Detroit picks 3rd, which is interesting because there was rumors out there that Matthew Stafford they're trying to trade him.
They came out that's 100% fake though.
They can't trade him, and the reason they can't trade him is because if they trade him, they're going to be $32 million in dead cap, and then $10.5 million in lost cap space.
I think Stafford's a good quarterback.
He is.
I just think he never
Look.
has a team.
My biggest fear is he's got that same injury that Romo had in the back.
He does.
You know, would he be good with the Cowboys? That was one of the rumors that came out. Oh, the Cowboys can trade for him and whatever. My thing is he's 5 years older than Dak. He was having a great season before he got hurt.
He was.
He's
because they
in
were.
Detroit where they have no running game. They never had a running game since Barry Sanders. They have no good offensive line. They have great receivers now. But he would be a great fit for a team like a Cowboys team.
My biggest thing too is I don't know why Cincinnati would want to trade their pick, because let's be real, Joe Burrow, he's number 1 pick overall.
Joe Burrow has come out and he's been on interviews with Dan Patrick saying that he wants to go to a team that's dedicated to going to the Super Bowl, and he doesn't think Cincinnati is a team like that.
I don't either. You know why? Because I think Cincinnati is just, since I've been living, Cincinnati's never done anything.
Yeah.
They've been to the playoffs 3 times, did nothing. And it's always it just seems like they always have these superstars in their teams, and then nothing happens. Like AJ Green's always been this big superstar. Andy Dalton wasn't bad. It just,
But you know the thing
Joe
that-
Mixon, it was great in Alabama. It's just they have these pieces, but yet nothing seems to move. It's like they don't want to take this team far.
The thing that aggravates me the most about this whole thing is it's no longer about getting into the NFL. Like, these guys are so full of themselves. It's like they could just basically say, I don't want to go to that team. Maybe, it's ridiculous.
In my opinion, I would love to go to a team that.
But financially, the number 1 pick in a draft is going to make a killing, not on maybe his first contract, but his second contract is going to be huge.
And obviously, I get the whole point. You want to go to a team that wins, because you look at Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams wants to win, but he's on a team that can never win.
But he could be that piece that
I
makes
know.
him a winner.
And that's what I'm saying. You think about, take Jamal Adams, for instance.
Yeah.
A team that always has a good defense, but not necessarily a good team. But he's good. And you always know when you think of the Jets, Jamal Adams, great safety, one of the best safeties in the game. I would love to go to a team that's struggling, because if you're good, you're going to shine.
Yeah, but Cincinnati have the weapons, especially if AJ Green comes back.
They do.
They have
They have
weapons.
Tyler Eifert. They have Joe Mixon. They have Bernard. They have AJ Green. If they franchise tag, you got John Ross. They have who's the other receiver?
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. Couldn't think.
And
of
then
it.
they have 2 good running backs.
Yeah.
They have a good tight end. If Eifert stays, there's a rumor saying that he might be gone.
They've been trying to trade him.
There's a lot of good receivers in this draft. So, they're there, but the weapons on defense, they're not the same that they used to be.
No. And I think
My whole thing is, though, is like you're in that situation, you're in that position, you're going to be the number one pick. My mouth would be shut. I'd
Okay, I
just
don't
be
care where I'm
happy
going.
to
I don't
get
care where I'm
drafted. I
going.
don't care. You know what? You want me to go to Miami? I'll go to Miami. You want me to go to Cleveland? I'll go to Cleveland.
I'll happily go to
I'll
Miami.
go
I like
anywhere.
warm weather.
I'll go anywhere. Because at the end of the day, you're playing a sport which is fun, and you're getting paid to do it.
That's what people need to remember.
Yeah.
I think the biggest news going around right now is that the Redskins cut Josh Norman.
Yeah, he's 32 years old.
He came out and said it's their choice, not mine, but now I can start something new and fresh.
He's 32 years old. He is declining a little bit. He's not as dominant as he was when he was with Carolina in his first couple years with the Redskins. Would
They
he be a
saved
good?
$12.5 million in cap space.
Yeah, he's going to be a good pickup for somebody. Is he going to be a number one corner anymore? No, probably
No,
not.
there's a lot of people saying he's washed up. I think he could still play.
Yeah.
He can still. If Richard Sherman can still play after an Achilles injury, I think I'm not saying like one's better than the other. What's funny is that Ron Rivera coached him in Carolina, and then he gets to call Josh Norman Friday morning and be like, "Hey man, like, you're cut."
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think. Listen, I was saying this as a Saints fan, a team where, PJ Williams shows potential. A team where Eli Apple looked good in the beginning of the year, didn't really look that good in the second year. We've always had a great Marshawn Lattimore. We've never had a great second cornerback. I would love to sign Jenkins back. Great cornerback. But if you could pick up a Josh Norman who's never really been on a great team besides that 1 year that Cam Newton really took him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you would have to pick up a Josh Norman at a lower cost.
And maybe he would take a team-friendly contract. You
might not.
You think a guy that's getting old who wants a Super Bowl ring,
Yeah, but
he might.
We're saying he's getting old. Players never say they're getting old. I mean, look at Des Bryant. They're not going to admit that they're older.
That's true.
These guys, they just think they can perform and keep performing. They don't realize that they're declining. But this is going to be an interesting offseason. It really is. With all the quarterbacks that could be on the move, with all the pieces, like the Cowboys have to make moves. New England is another team. They came out and Robert Kraft said that he's going to let Bill Belichick handle the Tom Brady situation. And you can't afford to pay a Tom Brady $30 million a year when you have 20 free agents and you barely have $40 million in cap space. So Tom Brady is going to be it's going to be interesting what happens with him.
Well, who's their owner, Kraft?
Yeah, he's out of it. He doesn't want nothing to do with it.
He said that he wants Tom Brady to explore free agency.
Yeah.
And it's funny. People were saying, whenever owners come out, whether it's NBA, baseball, or football, and you allow these star athletes to go explore free agency, they never come back. They go on a nice little plane ride, or they meet up with a coach and an owner. They don't come back.
Yeah.
They sign a contract. And as much as I love Tom Brady in New England, I'm really excited to see where he lands because that's the biggest thing that's happened the past, 10 years in the NFL?
Yeah.
You think he's never been a free agent?
Yeah, I'm holding my breath this offseason as far as the Cowboys because I know financially they have about $80 million in cap space. They have a lot of good weapons.
When can teams trade and pick up free agents?
I think March it starts. I think March the free agent market opens because that's when you have to decide whether to tag someone or not.
Because I'm so excited. We could list all the quarterbacks here, and we talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
But there's got to be at least 10 quarterbacks that you just have a big question mark right now.
Yeah.
It's February 15th. There's only 28 days in February. Drew Brees still hasn't announced what he's doing.
But there's 29 this year. It's a leap year.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. The Cowboys. They came out and they said that they're working hard to get a deal done with Dak. Now, some things that are leaking out is Dak doesn't want the $40 million. Dak wants less years. One of the things I read is Dak wants to get less years because he wants to get another contract under the new CBA, so it would give him more money. So, and the interesting thing is he's working with CAA. They're probably the toughest people out there to negotiate with. They stick to their guns. Dak's making money off endorsements. He's not financially hurting. He's in good shape. So someone's going to have to give in. And Jerry Jones tends to, pick up the phone, and they usually make that phone call to the player and say, look, let's get the deal done, and go around the agent. It's not going to work this time with CAA.
I've listened to so many different radio hosts and stuff talk about both sides of this. It's so tough because I think one thing Dallas always wanted to do is they wanted to almost marriage.
But you have to commit. You have to commit one way or the other now.
But they always wanted to marriage Dak and Zeke in their performance together. Zeke took off as one of the best running backs in the league. Dak could possibly be a top 10 quarterback in this league. And if you sign both of them to a long term, they'll play together. You have a new coach who could take these players.
But that's the thing that aggravates me the most about Dak is, in all the freaking standings and the ratings that they have for quarterbacks, he's not in the top 5. So why do you want top 1 or 2 money? And that's the struggle, man.
I think as an athlete, you live by the whole model that you're the best player in the game.
But do I think he's a good quarterback? Yes. Do I think he's a quarterback that can get me to a Super Bowl? Yes, but we need weapons to go with him. And if you spend 35, 38, 39, $40 million on him, that's a big piece of the cap that's going to go towards him.
I think if I was an athlete and I had a good agent, I think that I'd walk up to Dallas and I'd be like, what are you willing to give me? And if they said $33 million, I'd be like, okay, I'll take it.
That's what they offer him.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
See, you're in a pickle now because you're going to either sign Dak, you're going to either lose Amari, or you're going to lose Byron Jones.
Well, they're talking about franchise tagging Amari.
But I don't want to lose Byron Jones. They're talking about franchising and trading Amari, which I would do because the NFL draft is loaded with receivers this year.
That'd be smart.
But I want Amari. I want Byron Jones. It's tough to get a corner that is capable of doing what he does. Sure, he don't get the interceptions, but he ranks below one player in the NFL as far as corners, and that's Gilmore.
Yeah.
So that's elite.
That is.
You're not getting the turnovers, you're not getting the interceptions, but you're also not getting the completions.
I saw a good conversation too where they were talking about, people want to talk about how Dak's not a good playmaker. He's not good with all that. But at the end of the day, you look at Dak's stats, passing yards, career year last year, right? And then you think about it comes down at the end of the day to the coach. Mm-hmm. Coach calls the plays. Coach makes the schemes. You look at Cleveland Browns for an instant. Okay, lots of talent on that team, but what happened with that coach? He's gone. Now you think about this too. They didn't believe Garrett was their coach. Okay, and you take for example the Eagles game, biggest play of the year, and your star receivers aren't out there. You know what I mean? What goes through that scheme? Why?
But they said they benched him because he wasn't performing.
That's a lot stupid. Your best players need to be out there.
Has to be on the field.
Yeah. So you think about it. They got a new coach who they believe could take this team to the Super Bowl. Why not? And franchise quarterbacks are hard to come by nowadays.
Yeah.
So lock him in, franchise tag Amari, keep Zeke. You can always get I know cornerbacks are tough to get.
Well, Zeke's overpaid. Let's face that.
But
Zeke, that's what killed us.
If you have a franchise quarterback on your team that you believe eventually can take you to the Super Bowl, you want to lock them down.
You do, but you have to be realistic though about how you lock them down. Like the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be financially in trouble.
Yeah.
Because
but you have to lock someone like that down.
You have to. But when you put majority of your cap space towards 3 or 4 players, you can't build a championship team. The stats don't lie. If you put 75% of your cap towards 5 players on your team, you're not going to Super Bowl. Yeah. You'll be barely lucky to win 8 games.
I agree with you.
And this league's tough because you know what? They're allowing this to happen with this guaranteed money crap.
And at the end of the day, it'd be tough to be up in the Dallas owners and everything because it's like a flip coin. We can sit here and talk about both sides all day. Yeah. At the end of the day, you want to sign your franchise quarterback, but also you want to be able to sign these other players and go to the Super Bowl with this talent. That's a good idea, though. Locking Dak down, franchise tagging Amari,
trade him.
And don't get me wrong, Amari's a good receiver. He's dealing with injuries, but if you could get what would you say? You get 2 first-round picks when you trade a franchise tag?
Well, it depends on the position. I don't think you'll get 2 first rounds for Amari. You might get maybe a
you
first
draft
and
like one of those receivers from
second.
LSU this year or Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas has to do something because you know what? The longer you hold out on waiting on Dak, you can't fill the rest of the pie. The pieces that you have there that you have to get signed. I mean, you have a Quinn who got you 11.5 sacks. Yep. You have holes in the middle that have to get filled. You have a guy coming back as far as Crawford who's willing to take a pay cut. You have a Sean Lee because you're hurting at the linebacker. You have a lot of decisions to make. Yeah. You have to figure this out. And speaking of CAA, since we talked about them, Ryan Tannehill has just switched agents. He's going to CAA now.
Because he wants to get this money.
Tennessee is going to be an interesting place now because CAA represents Tannehill, represents the running back Henry, and also represents the guy that negotiates the contracts, the GM. That's going to be interesting.
What's tough in Tennessee situation is you have a running back who could be a top 3 running back for the rest of his career. And it's like, okay, you have Tannehill, who might perform the same way he did last year. So at the end of the day, it's like, are you going to put all your money and lock down this running back?
But you have a GM who is being represented by the agency CAA, who has to negotiate contracts with CAA for their quarterback and their running back.
man.
It is absolutely nuts.
At the end of the day, for Tennessee, if it came down to signing Henry or Tannehill, I'm signing Henry. You can get another quarterback
Yeah,
because Henry can run all game.
Henry's going to want a lot of money, and that's going to be a problem for them. I had a couple notes as far as quarterback drafts. I mean, if you want to go over that, we can. I have a couple listing of quarterbacks where it shows that quarterbacks getting drafted. It's getting a lot better. Back in 2014, Bortles, Carr, Manziel, and Bridgewater, they all got drafted. Bortles was a bust. Carr, I mean, he got a second contract. Manziel, a bust. Bridgewater got injured. You can't call him a bust.
No, because he was potentially going to become an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, his future's still gonna figure that out. 2016, you had Goff, Wentz, Lynch, and Dak. Let's face it, Goff's a hit, Wentz is a hit, Dak's a hit, Lynch was a bust.
I wouldn't even say Lynch was a bust. Like I don't know.
He didn't get a chance.
Yeah,
Paxton Lynch really didn't get a chance. I mean, actually, that would be good for him to get in the XFL.
I didn't know. I forgot that Drew Lock went like 5-1 his last couple games.
2017, yeah, Mitchell, Trubisky, whatever his name was. You had Mahomes. You had Deshaun. Trubisky.
That was a good draft class.
I don't know if he's considered a hit yet. Mahomes definitely. Deshaun, I'd call him a hit. He's not bad. 2018, you had Baker, you had Allen, you had Lamar, and you had Rosen. Lamar and Allen. Allen has promise. Lamar's a hit. Baker, it's still too early. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is in Cleveland, if it's him or if it's the line.
And then Rosen,
I
don't know what his future holds for him because after the whole Arizona thing, he had a chance to win out in Miami, win that job, and he didn't. He lost to Fitzpatrick.
In 2019, you had Murray, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew. And there was another one.
That was
too,
a good draft class.
Yeah, Murray, he's going to be a hit.
I think Minshew's going to be the starter in Jacksonville.
Yeah, they have a tough decision to make there. And Drew Lock, he's going to be good. I mean, they're talking about Denver drafting another quarterback, but I don't know why.
Drew Lock looked great.
Why would you want a Dak Prescott or something when you have Drew Lock?
He beat good teams.
What did he go, 5-1 or something like that?
The Texans, when they were on their hot streak, he beat the Texans in Texas.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be the future there. And then one more football nugget. Baker Mayfield. They have several girls coming out now and going on to these major newscast agencies and saying that he has been having relations behind the Cheesecake Factory with several different girls. And these girls are all coming out now and saying this is happening while he's been engaged. So Baker's life is going to get a little bit crazy if...
But I feel like once someone becomes a star, all these people want to come out and just ruin their lives.
Well, last night was awesome. It was a happy Valentine's Day for me and Mom. Went to our first hockey game. Had a great time.
Phantoms games are fun to go to.
And then tonight we're doing something that I absolutely hate doing, but we're going to do it. We're getting dressed up formally and going out. As you can see, I'm not too formal. I like my sweatshirts and my sweatpants and my hats. And I had to go and painfully get size for a dress coat today and a tie. And I had to watch a YouTube video on how to tie one because I haven't tied it since boot camp in 1993. A long time ago. But yeah, life is good, man. Life is good.
We're about to have Leanna on too, so if you guys stick tuned, we're about to have Leanna's interview on. But we hope
interview.
But we hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Stick tuned for the interview. But we hope you guys have a good one.
Peace.
All right, so joining us today on the phone is Leanna Cruz, future boxer, shoulda won Rough and Rowdy boxer. How you doing, Leanna?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. So tell us, how was that experience at Rough and Rowdy? I mean, we definitely thought you definitely should have won, but how was your experience personally with that?
My experience, it was pretty cool because I kind of felt like fame. Like, I probably took over 50 pictures. I had a lot of people coming up to me saying, like, they had their money on me. It was a good experience. Like, and I actually made a lot of connections just even by losing, just because a lot of people did notice that I should have been the actual winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel like I wouldn't have got as much recognition had I won.
No, absolutely. Now, you've been boxing for like what, six months right now?
Yeah.
Now,
6 months.
how did you get involved in boxing? Is that something you always wanted to do? I mean, I know in Whitehall, you got in a couple fights and everything, but
Yeah. So
go ahead.
I honestly, this past summer, I just got tired of getting in trouble for beating girls up. And I was like, I should just get paid to do this. And I was like, you know what? I'll try boxing and then see if it goes like into MMA in a couple of years. And I actually became like a really natural boxer.
Yeah. Now I've seen some of your fights. Okay. Now, did you ever want to pursue like MMA, or was boxing the first one you wanted to go to?
I wanted to do boxing just because I feel like boxing is a fundamental of MMA, and I feel like if I have that down as like a foundation, I could pick up other things in MMA a lot easier. So I wouldn't have to focus on like grappling and like taking someone down and fighting on my feet
Yeah,
all at the
absolutely.
same time.
Now, as far as street fighting goes, there's really no training. It's basically just, beat the girl's ass as fast as you can and get out of there. How was it like when you went into that rough and rowdy? Did you have to like control yourself because you don't want to go in there and blow all of your energy? It's more of a boxing match. Was it hard for you to adapt to that?
No, not at all. Just because conditioning wise, and when I have adrenaline, I have a lot of like energy, and I do have a problem pacing myself. But with rough and rowdy, since it was only 1 minute rounds, like that was really light to me.
Now,
It wasn't anything like I couldn't handle.
Now, did you like the environment of Rough and Rowdy, or did you think it was kind of cheesy, or did you think it was good just to get your name out there?
It almost seemed to me like WWE, like they hyped up that fight really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's more like how many views or whatever can they get so they can make financially whatever they can make off of you. But do you think you can have a career in that, Rough and Rowdy?
Well, actually, the Barstool Prez, he loves me. He actually messaged me after the fight and said that I should have won, and how he wanted to see me in Miami. I think they just fought on like on the 31st, I think it was. And he said the person that wins in Miami, when it was going to be between Vicky and me, they were going to get a contract with Barstool, and they would actually create a whole division between us.
Oh, wow.
But because both of us are actually more interested in like the professional side of boxing and not like the entertainment side, we decided to just pursue it through go through amateur boxing. And if we were to compete in Rough and Rowdy this year, we would actually get suspended from USA Boxing sanctioned tournaments.
That's awesome. Now you looking to really get pro here and like really work hard and get into like, what is that one tournament? Is it the Golden Gloves that you can get into?
Yeah. I have the Golden Gloves. My first match is actually March 14th.
Oh, that's exciting. Now you training almost every day for that?
Yeah, I usually train twice a day, Monday through Thursday, and then I train Friday and Saturday just once.
Wow.
Now, in female boxing, because I'm not too familiar with female boxing, how many rounds do they go?
It really depends. Like you could have a 4-round fight, you can have an 8-round fight, you can have a 12 or 10-round fight. But as far as amateurs, it's always going to be 3 rounds.
Okay, because like MMA, usually if it's not a title fight or it's not a main card fight, it's usually 3 rounds, and then they get 5 rounds for the main card.
Yeah.
Have you
But
ever?
I think for MMA, they fight like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah,
I believe
Yeah.
so.
yeah, it's 5 minutes. Now, have you ever thought of anything other than boxing and MMA, like WWE wrestling?
Hell no.
Now, as far as pro boxers, is there someone that you look up to? Like I know I'm a big.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. I mean, I know he's from England, but I just love the style that he brings. But as far as for you, especially whether it's women or men, is there someone that you watch?
Yeah, I mean, the people I really study more than anything is probably going to be like Joseph Adorno. He's a local boxer as well. Clarissa Shields, Michaela Mayer, Jose Vargas, and Xander Zayas. Those are like my top people to watch. I love the way they fight.
That's awesome. Now, you excited for this first fight that's coming up?
Yeah, I actually just sparred someone that has 7 fights, and I did really, really, really good.
That's good. That builds confidence.
Now, this is no
Yeah.
this is no headgear like the Olympics. This is straight up regular boxing, correct?
No, so for amateur, you have to wear headgear.
Yeah.
Once you go pro, that's when you don't have to wear it anymore.
Okay, and as far as Golden Gloves goes, is this like a ranking? Like you'll get a ranking, and then do they pick your next opponent, and you move up as far as ranking goes?
It's almost like a tournament. So it really depends on how many girls actually like sign up for the tournament. Because with me, because female boxing is so rare, especially in this area, I might not even have an opponent. And if I don't, then I'm automatically crowned the champion in my weight class.
Okay.
If I do, like let's say there's only one, I go to the championships automatically. It just really depends on the people that they can find to kind of fight for me to see how far I can go. But it's a 3-day tournament.
Wow.
Now that's awesome. Now say I know you're pursuing your boxing, but say they want to do a rematch between you and Vicky and Rough and Rowdy. Would you be down for that?
No, just because I know I beat her and I know I'm better than her. I was better than her when I was 3 months in and she was 2 years in.
Yeah.
I'm now 6 months in and she wouldn't even be able to touch me now.
I just think, and this is just my personal opinion, it really doesn't matter, it's just for the show. But if you're looking to have a career, I think the tournament you're going into is probably better for you if you're gonna have a career in boxing.
A lot better.
You're gonna have a lot of eyes on you, a lot of people in the business, professional, a lot of agents, and like when I coach baseball, I used to tell everyone, you never know who's watching you. You could go out there and you could lose a fight, but somebody might see something in you. It might open up a door for you.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Well.
And the Golden Gloves is actually one of the biggest tournaments in boxing. So that'll get me a lot of recognition when I win in my class.
That's awesome.
Now, you said that it's a 3-day tournament. How many fights could you have in 3 days? I mean, don't you have to have so much time off because of possible concussions or anything like that?
So my first fight is March 14th, and then the following week is when the fights continue. So we fight on the 20th and the 21st.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'll be fighting all 3 days, but sometimes I can have 2 fights back to back. Like let's say on the 14th, the doors open at 7 and I fight at 7. I can fight again at 9 if need be.
Dang.
Where's this at?
The Golden Gloves is hosted, I believe, in Lancaster.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We're rooting for you, Leanna, and we
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us today and just sharing a little experience with us. We'll have to come check that out and watch it.
I just gotta tell you, we've interviewed several UFC fighters on this show, and I am just impressed with people that have the mindset they're going into a fight and they're okay with it. It's absolutely crazy.
It is.
Absolutely crazy.
But we wish
You honestly get used to getting hit. It doesn't feel like anything after a month.
after a couple punches to the face and the guts, it's kind of just like.
I mean, I'm 46 years old and I've never been punched in the face. I wouldn't even know how I'd react. I'd probably go full on MMA, kicking people in the throat, and it's a boxing match.
Yeah, but that's expected.
Yeah.
That's like a street fight.
Yeah.
That's like I told him. Me and my brother used to spar. And my brother used to train UFC stuff and everything like that out in Colorado. So the first time we sparred, I straight up told him, hey, just punch me in the face. Doesn't have to be full power, but just punch me in the face so I know what to expect when we train from now on. And it was funny the first time I told him that story because it's just, you want to be prepared for that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Like, my coach actually, I think on Thursday was the first time I actually, besides Vicky, was the first girl I actually went up against. All I've been going against is boys that are 17 and they could be 140. They have maybe 20 to 30 pounds on me. So my coach just got me prepared getting hit by boys.
Wow.
So when a girl hits me, it doesn't feel like
nothing.
anything.
It's like nothing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, best of luck, Leanna. Thank you so much
for
joining
coming
us
on
today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, we look forward to interviewing you again, and maybe one day you'll be holding that championship belt, and you'll come on and talk to us, even when you have that blue check to your name on Instagram and Twitter.
Definitely.
All right, Leanna. Have a good rest of your day.
You too, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
All right,
you.
Bye.